Forget the red pill or the blue pill. What if the KGB had already found a backdoor into the Matrix? During the Cold War, while the world trembled under the threat of nuclear annihilation, a quieter, stranger battle was being waged. A clandestine Soviet effort to weaponize the paranormal and potentially seize control of reality itself. If the KGB managed to unlock even a fraction of the secrets to manipulating the fabric of existence, the implications would be earth-shattering, shaking the very foundations of what we believe to be real and threatening individual freedom on an unprecedented scale. At the heart of this quest was the intersection of seemingly disparate worlds. The rigid, materialistic doctrine of the Soviet state, the age-old wisdom of esoteric spiritual traditions, and the mind-bending discoveries of modern quantum physics. It seems a paradox that the staunchly atheistic Soviet Union would delve into psychic research, but they viewed these abilities as a strategic asset, a potential shortcut to military and technological dominance. Imagine a world where telepathy could replace traditional communication, remote viewing could unveil enemy secrets, and psychokinesis could disable weapons systems. To this end, the KGB poured vast resources into parapsychological programs, exploring telepathy, remote viewing, and psychokinesis. These weren't just fringe experiments. They were highly classified operations aimed at harnessing the untapped potential of the human mind. But what exactly did they find? What lines were crossed in the pursuit of these powers? And could their discoveries offer us a glimpse into the true nature of reality itself? A reality that ancient mystics and cutting-edge scientists have been probing for centuries. We will explore how the KGB's research, ancient spiritual practices, and modern science intertwine to offer a unified understanding of reality, a reality that starkly contrasts with the conventional materialistic worldview. Did the KGB truly unlock a way to bend reality to their will? Or did they simply chase a phantom, a tantalizing mirage in the desert of the Cold War? How far did their experiments go, and were the results ever truly suppressed? And perhaps most importantly, what can their journey tell us about our own potential to perceive, and perhaps even reshape the world around us? We will examine the possibility of lucid dreaming and meditation as keys to unlock dormant abilities, techniques that the KGB may have explored in their relentless pursuit of psychic dominance. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about reality, because the rabbit hole goes deeper than you can possibly imagine. And we're about to dive in headfirst, revealing practical techniques you can use to explore your own consciousness and challenge your perceptions of reality. Imagine a world where the fate of nations could be swayed not by missiles or spies, but by the very thoughts of a select few. This was the chilling vision that fueled the psychic arms race of the Cold War, an era defined by paranoia, mistrust, and the relentless pursuit of any advantage, no matter how unconventional. The escalating tensions between the US and the Soviet Union, symbolized by the space race and the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation, created an atmosphere where both superpowers were willing to explore the fringes of science and the paranormal. Events like the Cuban Missile Crisis served as stark reminders of the precarious balance of power, pushing both sides to seek any edge, any secret weapon that could tip the scales in their favor. The conventional methods of warfare were no longer enough. The race was on to weaponize the mind itself. It's easy to dismiss this as mere science fiction, but declassified documents reveal the extent to which both the CIA, with Project Stargate, and the KGB invested in psychic research. The underlying logic was simple. If the other side was exploring these possibilities, we couldn't afford to be left behind. This perceived need to explore every possible avenue for dominance, no matter how outlandish, highlights the mindset of the era. It was a desperate search for a cheat code to reality, a way to bypass the limitations of conventional warfare and gain an insurmountable advantage. This wasn't just about gathering intelligence. It was about potentially controlling the very fabric of reality. The Soviets, in particular, believed that psychic abilities could be harnessed for military intelligence, espionage, and even mind control, offering a potential shortcut to victory. What if they could remotely influence foreign leaders, predict enemy movements, or even disable weapons systems with the power of their minds? The Soviet perspective was rooted in a materialistic scientific worldview, albeit one that was willing to stretch the boundaries of what was considered measurable and controllable. They approached psychic phenomena not as mystical or supernatural, but as a form of energy or information that could be quantified and manipulated. This belief system fueled their relentless pursuit of psychic weapons and technologies. They saw psychic abilities as a force, like gravity or electromagnetism, waiting to be harnessed and weaponized. This mindset, though seemingly at odds with the spiritual implications of psychic phenomena, allowed them to justify their research within the framework of their materialistic ideology. But what if this materialistic interpretation was itself a limitation, a veil that prevented them from seeing the true potential of these abilities? What if the key to unlocking these powers lay not in controlling them, but in understanding the deeper nature of consciousness itself? Think of Neo in The Matrix, learning to manipulate the code of the simulated reality. The KGB, in their own way, were searching for a similar ability, a way to bend the rules of reality to their will. They were looking for that point where mind could influence matter, where thought could become a weapon. But was this pursuit ultimately futile? Did they ever truly find a way to hack reality, or were they simply chasing a ghost, a mirage in the desert of Cold War paranoia? And if they did achieve some measure of success, what were the ethical implications of wielding such power? As we delve deeper into the story of Unit 10006, we will see that the KGB's quest for psychic dominance was not just a military endeavor, but a profound exploration of the nature of reality itself. At the heart of the KGB's psychic research efforts was Unit 10006, a top-secret division dedicated to unlocking the secrets of the human mind. This shadowy organization was tasked with the daunting mission of researching and developing psychic weapons and technologies. Imagine a team of scientists and psychics working in clandestine labs, attempting to harness the power of telepathy, psychokinesis, and remote viewing for military applications. Specific researchers were allegedly experts in their fields. Some attempted telepathic communication with submerged submarines, while others tried to remotely influence foreign leaders from afar. The goal was nothing short of transforming the battlefield, turning the mind into the ultimate weapon. But what methods did they employ, and what results did they achieve? Among the most well-known cases associated with Unit 10006 is that of Nina Kilogina, a Soviet woman who allegedly possessed the ability to move objects with her mind. Videos and reports from the time show her apparently manipulating compass needles, moving small objects across tables, and even influencing the movement of cells in a laboratory setting. These demonstrations sparked both fascination and skepticism within the scientific community. While some researchers believed that Kilogina possessed genuine psychokinetic abilities, others attributed her feats to trickery or unconscious muscle movements. The controversy surrounding Kilogina highlights the challenges inherent in studying psychic phenomena under controlled conditions. Were her abilities real, or was she a skilled illusionist? And if her powers were genuine, how did they work? Was it a matter of manipulating energy, or was something more profound at play? The difficulty in replicating Kilogina's results consistently further fueled the debate, leaving many to question the validity of her claims and the scientific rigor of the investigations. Despite the enthusiasm and resources poured into Unit 10006, definitive scientific proof of their success remained elusive. The experiments were often plagued by inconsistent results, methodological flaws, and the ever-present possibility of fraud or bias. The controversial nature of the research made it difficult to gain acceptance within the wider scientific community, and many dismissed the KGB's efforts as pseudoscience. But even if the KGB never achieved its goal of weaponizing psychic abilities, their research raised profound questions about the nature of consciousness and its potential influence on the physical world. The limitations and challenges they faced serve as a reminder of the complexities involved in studying these phenomena. It also underscores the need for rigorous scientific methodology and critical thinking when exploring claims of psychic abilities. Did the KGB fail because their methods were flawed, or because they were fundamentally misunderstanding the nature of the powers they were trying to harness? Consider again Neo in The Matrix, bending spoons and dodging bullets. The KGB, in their pursuit of psychic weapons, were essentially trying to find ways to achieve similar feats in the real world. They were attempting to hack reality, to bypass the laws of physics and manipulate the world with the power of their minds. They sought to bend or break the rules of reality, similar to Neo's ability to manipulate the simulated world. This parallel highlights a fundamental human desire to transcend our limitations and control our environment. But is this desire ultimately misguided? Is reality something to be conquered or something to be understood and appreciated? And if we could truly manipulate reality at will, what would be the consequences? This pursuit is not unique to modern times. The concept of reality as an illusion, as something other than what it appears to be, is an idea that stretches back to the dawn of human thought. The Hindu concept of Maya describes the world as an illusion, a veil that obscures the true nature of reality. According to this philosophical framework, our senses deceive us, and what we perceive as solid and real is merely a transient and ever-changing projection. The true reality, according to Maya, lies beyond our perception in a realm of pure consciousness and infinite potential. This idea challenges our fundamental assumptions about the nature of existence. It asks us to question whether what we see, hear, and feel is truly representative of the world around us, or simply a limited and distorted reflection of something far greater. The implications of Maya are profound, suggesting that our attachment to the material world is a source of suffering, and that true liberation comes from recognizing the illusory nature of reality. Plato's allegory of the cave offers a similar perspective on the limitations of human perception. In this famous thought experiment, prisoners are chained in a cave, facing a wall. All they can see are shadows projected onto the wall by objects passing in front of a fire. The prisoners mistake these shadows for reality, unaware of the true nature of the objects casting them. When one prisoner escapes and ventures outside the cave, he is initially blinded by the light of the sun. However, as his eyes adjust, he begins to see the world in its true form, recognizing that the shadows were merely pale imitations of reality. Upon returning to the cave to share his discovery with the other prisoners, they refuse to believe him, clinging to the familiar comfort of their illusions. Plato's allegory serves as a powerful metaphor for the human condition, suggesting that we may be similarly trapped in a false reality, mistaking appearances for truth. Just as the prisoners in the cave are limited by their perspective, we too may be limited by our senses and our preconceived notions about the world. But what are the chains that bind us to this illusory reality, and how can we break free to see the world as it truly is? Gnostic beliefs take this idea even further, suggesting that the world is not just an illusion, but a flawed creation ruled by malevolent forces. According to Gnostic teachings, the material world was created by a being known as the Demiurge, a flawed and ignorant deity who is separate from the true God. The Demiurge traps human souls in the material world, keeping them ignorant of their true divine nature. To awaken to the true nature of reality, Gnostics believe that we must seek gnosis, or secret knowledge, that can liberate us from the Demiurge's control. This concept introduces a darker element to the idea of a constructed reality, suggesting that we are not just living in an illusion, but in a prison created by hostile forces. This idea resonates with the Matrix concept, in which humans are unknowingly enslaved within a simulated reality created by machines. Are we truly free, Or are we being manipulated by forces beyond our comprehension? Are we living in a world designed to keep us asleep, to prevent us from realizing our true potential? These ancient philosophical and spiritual traditions all point to a common theme: the idea that reality is not what it seems. They suggest that our senses can deceive us, that our perceptions are limited, and that there may be hidden dimensions of reality beyond our comprehension. The Matrix is simply a modern reinterpretation of these ancient themes, reflecting a deep-seated human desire to understand the nature of reality. The idea of a simulated reality has been around for centuries, taking different forms in different cultures and belief systems. Whether it's Maya, Plato's cave, Gnostic beliefs, or the Matrix, the underlying message remains the same. Question everything you think you know about the world around you, and be open to the possibility that reality is far stranger and more complex than you can possibly imagine. But where does modern science fit into this picture? Can quantum physics offer us any clues about the true nature of reality, or are we destined to remain trapped in our illusions? Quantum physics, the branch of science that studies the behavior of matter at the atomic and subatomic levels, has revealed a series of mind-bending discoveries that challenge our conventional understanding of reality. Quantum entanglement, the observer effect, and the holographic universe theory all suggest that reality is not as fixed and objective as we once believed. These concepts, while complex and often counterintuitive, offer a glimpse behind the curtain, a peek into the underlying fabric of existence. They hint at the possibility that reality is not something that exists independently of us, but something that is actively shaped by our consciousness. But how can we make sense of these bizarre and unsettling findings? And what do they tell us about the KGB's quest to manipulate reality? Consider quantum entanglement, a phenomenon in which two particles become linked in such a way that they share the same fate, no matter how far apart they are. If you measure the properties of one particle, you instantly know the properties of the other, even if they are separated by vast distances. This connection appears to defy the laws of classical physics, which state that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. Einstein famously called entanglement spooky action at a distance, because it seemed to violate his theory of relativity. Imagine two coins flipped at the same time and somehow connected so that every time one lands on heads, the other lands on tails, regardless of how far apart they are. This is similar to quantum entanglement, but with subatomic particles instead of coins. How can these particles be so intimately connected, even when separated by vast distances? Does this suggest that there is a deeper level of reality that transcends our conventional understanding of space and time? The observer effect in quantum mechanics adds another layer of complexity to the picture. This phenomenon demonstrates that the act of observing a quantum system can change its behavior. One of the most famous examples of the observer effect is the double-slit experiment, in which electrons are fired at a screen with two slits in it. When the electrons are not observed, they pass through both slits simultaneously, creating an interference pattern on the screen. However, when the electrons are observed as they pass through the slits, they behave like particles, passing through only one slit or the other, and the interference pattern disappears. This suggests that the act of observation somehow forces the electrons to choose a definite state, altering their behavior in the process. The double-slit experiment has profound implications for our understanding of reality, suggesting that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the world around us. Does this mean that reality is not fixed and objective, but rather malleable and dependent on our awareness? What implications does that have for our understanding of the rules that govern reality? The holographic universe theory takes these ideas to an even more radical level, proposing that the entire universe may be a projection from a two-dimensional surface. This theory suggests that what we perceive as a three-dimensional reality is actually an illusion, a hologram projected from a distant boundary. The math and physics behind the holographic universe theory are complex, but the basic idea is that all the information contained within a volume of space can be encoded on its surface. This is similar to how a hologram encodes a three-dimensional image on a two-dimensional surface. If the holographic universe theory is correct, it would mean that our perception of reality is fundamentally flawed, and that the universe is far stranger and more mysterious than we can possibly imagine. These quantum concepts suggest that reality is not fixed, but rather malleable and influenced by consciousness. The KGB, in their psychic research, may have unknowingly stumbled upon these principles, perhaps accessing a deeper level of reality through their experiments. Perhaps, by amplifying human consciousness, they found ways to influence quantum events, manipulating matter and energy with the power of the mind. Quantum mechanics provides a scientific basis for the idea that reality can be manipulated. This supports the possibility that the KGB's experiments were more successful than previously thought. It is unlikely that the KGB fully grasped the implications of what they were doing, but their research may have inadvertently opened a door to a new understanding of reality, one that challenges our conventional materialistic worldview. Now the question becomes, could these discoveries lead to technologies that allow us to alter reality, or are we fundamentally limited by our perception and understanding of the universe? Imagine being able to step into your dreams, fully aware that you're dreaming, and then bend the rules of that dream world to your will. This is the realm of lucid dreaming, a state where you not only know you're dreaming, but you can actively control the dream environment. It's like having the cheat codes to your own personal simulation. While in a regular dream, you're merely a passive observer, in a lucid dream you become the architect, the director, and the star, all rolled into one. You can fly through the air, breathe underwater, conjure objects out of thin air, or even have conversations with figures from your past. The possibilities are limited only by your imagination. Have you ever considered that this nightly escape into a controllable reality might hold the key to understanding the nature of reality itself? So, how does one actually achieve this state of lucid dreaming? There are several techniques, each designed to increase your awareness and help you recognize when you're in a dream. One of the most popular methods is performing reality checks throughout the day. This involves consciously questioning your surroundings and looking for signs that might indicate you're dreaming. For example, you might try to push your finger through your palm, look at a clock, and then look away and look back to see if the time has changed, or try to float in the air. If you perform these checks regularly while you're awake, you're more likely to do them in your dreams, triggering lucidity. Another technique is keeping a dream journal. By writing down your dreams each morning, you become more attuned to the patterns and symbols that appear in your dreams, making it easier to recognize them as dreams. The Wake Back to Bed, WBTB technique involves waking up after about 5 hours of sleep, staying awake for a short period, 30 minutes to an hour, and then going back to sleep. This interruption can increase your chances of entering a lucid dream. The key to all of these techniques is intention and focus. You must consciously decide that you want to have a lucid dream and dedicate your energy to achieving it. Once you're in a lucid dream, the real fun begins. You can experiment with the laws of physics, creating impossible scenarios and exploring different realities. Imagine flying through the Grand Canyon, teleporting to the surface of Mars, or having tea with Albert Einstein. Lucid dreamers have reported altering the colors of the sky, summoning objects and beings with their thoughts, and even healing themselves from physical ailments. The dream world becomes a laboratory for the mind, a place where you can test the limits of your imagination and explore the depths of your subconscious. Think about what this implies. If you can manipulate your reality within a dream, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? Could our waking reality also be a kind of dream, one that we're simply not yet aware of being in? Given the potential for control and manipulation within lucid dreams, could the KGB have explored this phenomenon as a means of training psychic spies? Imagine agents practicing remote viewing or telepathy in the safe and controlled environment of a dream. They could rehearse scenarios, gather intelligence, and even influence the thoughts of others, all without leaving their beds. Perhaps Unit 10006 sought to weaponize the lucid dream, turning it into a training ground for psychic warfare. While concrete evidence of the KGB's specific interest in lucid dreaming remains elusive, it's not unreasonable to speculate that they would have been intrigued by its potential applications. And what if, in their attempts to control dreams, they stumbled upon a deeper understanding of the connection between consciousness and reality? It's also important to remember that dream control is not a new concept. Various spiritual traditions, such as Tibetan dream yoga, have practiced dream manipulation for centuries. Dream yoga aims to achieve spiritual enlightenment through the practice of lucid dreaming. Practitioners believe that by recognizing the illusory nature of dreams, they can also recognize the illusory nature of waking reality, leading to a deeper understanding of the self and the universe. The goal is to transform the dream state into a vehicle for spiritual growth, using it to confront fears, overcome limitations, and ultimately achieve liberation. So, whether it's the KGB searching for a military advantage or Tibetan monks seeking enlightenment, the manipulation of dreams seems to offer a unique path to altering the state of consciousness and maybe, just maybe, altering reality itself. But what if the key to altering reality lies not in the dream world, but in the stillness of the meditative mind? Meditation, a practice that has been around for thousands of years, offers a powerful tool for quieting the mind, reducing stress, and increasing self-awareness. It's a process of training the mind to focus on the present moment without getting caught up in thoughts, emotions, or distractions. Think of it as a way of decluttering your mental landscape, creating space for new insights and perspectives to emerge. There are many different types of meditation techniques, each with its own unique approach and benefits. Mindfulness meditation involves paying attention to your breath, your body sensations, and your thoughts without judgment. It's about observing your experience as it unfolds, without trying to change it or control it. Transcendental meditation, TM, uses a mantra, a specific sound or word, to quiet the mind and promote relaxation. Loving-kindness meditation involves cultivating feelings of compassion and kindness towards yourself and others, expanding your circle of empathy and connection. Vipassana meditation, also known as insight meditation, focuses on developing a deep understanding of the nature of reality through careful observation of your own mind and body. Each of these practices, in its own way, offers a path to inner peace and self-discovery. Regular meditation practice has been shown to have a profound impact on the brain, leading to changes in brain structure and function. Studies have found that meditators have increased gray matter volume in areas associated with attention, emotional regulation, and cognitive function. Meditation can also decrease activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, leading to reduced stress and anxiety. Perhaps more profoundly, meditation can alter the way we perceive the world. By quieting the mind and cultivating awareness, we can begin to see things more clearly, without the filters of our preconceived notions and biases. Imagine that the layers of mental noise slowly peel away, revealing a reality that is more vibrant, more interconnected, and more meaningful. Could the KGB have recognized the potential of meditation to enhance the psychic abilities of their agents? Perhaps they used meditation techniques to improve focus, mental resilience, and the ability to enter altered states of consciousness. It's not far-fetched to imagine Unit 10006 incorporating meditation into their training programs, seeking to unlock the hidden potential of the human mind. Maybe they believed that a calm and focused mind was more receptive to psychic impressions or better able to exert psychokinetic influence. Or perhaps they were interested in using meditation as a form of mind control, subtly influencing the thoughts and behaviors of others. Whatever their specific intentions, it's clear that the KGB would have been intrigued by the potential of meditation to manipulate the states of consciousness. Like dream control, meditation is a central practice in many spiritual traditions, aimed at achieving enlightenment and transcending the limitations of the ego. In Buddhism, meditation is a core component of the path to liberation, helping practitioners to develop wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. In Hinduism, meditation is used to achieve union with the divine, to merge the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. These ancient traditions see meditation not just as a relaxation technique, but as a powerful tool for transforming consciousness and realizing our true potential. In the same vein, perhaps the KGB's research was also a distorted search for a sort of enlightenment of the mind. Perhaps they were using it to reach a plane of power, to grab a hold of something intangible. Now, let's shift our focus from the inner world of dreams and meditation to the external world of technology. What if we could create simulations so realistic that they were indistinguishable from reality? What if we could use technology to manipulate not just our perceptions, but the very fabric of existence? The advancements in virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, are rapidly blurring the lines between the physical and the digital. VR technology allows us to step into entirely simulated environments, immersing ourselves in worlds that are limited only by our imaginations. AR overlays digital information onto the real world, enhancing our perception of our surroundings. Imagine a future where VR and AR technologies are so advanced that they can create truly immersive experiences, simulations that feel as real as life itself. You could step into a historical reenactment, explore the surface of an alien planet, or even live out your wildest fantasies. What would be the implications of such powerful technology? The ethical concerns surrounding advanced simulation technology are numerous. What are the dangers of becoming addicted to these simulated realities, neglecting our real-world responsibilities? What are the psychological effects of blurring the lines between reality and simulation? Could these technologies be used to manipulate or control people, influencing their thoughts and behaviors without their knowledge? And what if these simulations become so realistic that we can no longer tell the difference between what's real and what's not? The possibilities, both exciting and terrifying, are endless. Could the KGB have foreseen the potential of simulation technology? Perhaps they attempted to develop their own VR and AR systems as a means of training agents, gathering intelligence, or influencing foreign populations. Imagine using simulations to prepare spies for dangerous missions, allowing them to practice their skills in a safe and controlled environment. Or perhaps they sought to create propaganda that was so realistic that it could sway public opinion and destabilize enemy governments. In a world of increasingly sophisticated technology, the potential for manipulation is immense. What if individuals or organizations could hack reality through technology? Imagine advanced AI systems or quantum computers that can manipulate data and algorithms to alter our perception of events, change historical records, or even rewrite the laws of physics. Science fiction, perhaps. But the rapid pace of technological advancement suggests that these possibilities are not as far-fetched as they might seem. With this potential, however, comes an enormous responsibility. How can we ensure that these technologies are used for good, rather than for nefarious purposes? How can we protect ourselves from manipulation and control in an age of increasingly sophisticated simulation and reality-altering technologies? We must be critically aware of the choices being made with technology, lest we become slaves to our own creations. The power of individual consciousness cannot be understated. Our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions shape our reality. If we believe that we are limited, we will be. If we believe that we are capable of anything, the possibilities become endless. It's time to reclaim your reality. Question your assumptions. Challenge your beliefs. Become more aware of your own thought processes. Understand that the matrix is not something out there, but is a construct of your own mind. Perform reality checks throughout the day. Keep a dream journal and practice lucid dreaming. Meditate regularly. Practice mindfulness during daily tasks. These are not just techniques for exploring consciousness, they are tools for taking control of your life. Understand that you have the power to shape your own reality. You are not a victim of a predetermined fate. Taking action now is essential to prevent personal compromise in the future. The world is changing rapidly, and the forces that seek to control us are becoming more sophisticated. But we have the power to resist, to awaken, and to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. So you've been experimenting with lucid dreaming, meditating to quiet your mind, and questioning the nature of reality. But what does it all mean? If reality is indeed a kind of simulation, or at least a construct shaped by our minds, does anything really matter? The answer, perhaps surprisingly, is a resounding yes. Even within a game, your choices have consequences. Actions resonate within the system, shaping your experience and the experience of those around you. Think of it this way. If you choose to be a kind and helpful player, you're more likely to attract positive interactions and create a more enjoyable game for everyone. Conversely, if you choose to be a disruptive and malicious player, you'll likely face negative consequences and contribute to a toxic environment. Consider the concept of karmic feedback, the idea that our actions create feedback loops within the matrix, shaping our experiences and influencing the overall reality. It's like ripples in a pond. A single act of kindness can create a wave of positive energy, inspiring others to act with compassion and creating a ripple effect that spreads throughout the world. On the other hand, an act of cruelty can create a wave of negativity, perpetuating cycles of violence and suffering. This isn't some mystical concept. It's a fundamental principle of cause and effect. Our actions have consequences, whether we're aware of them or not. The simulation responds to our choices, creating a reality that reflects our inner state. Our intentions, the guiding force behind our thoughts, emotions, and actions, are like the software that programs the hardware of reality. A clear and focused intention can manifest in powerful ways, shaping our experiences and influencing the overall simulation. Imagine intending to create a more loving and compassionate world. This intention can guide your thoughts, emotions, and actions, leading you to make choices that align with your vision. You might start by being more kind and understanding to those around you, volunteering your time to help those in need, or speaking out against injustice and inequality. These actions, guided by your intention, can create a powerful ripple effect, inspiring others to join you in creating a more positive reality. While external forces may influence us, we always have the power to choose our response and to shape our own destiny. Even if we are programmed to behave in a certain way, we can overwrite that programming with conscious intention and self-awareness. Think of someone who grew up in a violent and abusive environment. They may be programmed to believe that violence is the only way to solve problems. However, with conscious effort, they can challenge this belief, learn new coping mechanisms, and choose to break the cycle of violence. They can rewrite their own code, transforming themselves from a victim into a survivor and a force for positive change. The practices of lucid dreaming and meditation are, in effect, tools that empower us to take control of our internal landscape and, by extension, our external reality. By mastering our dreams and thoughts, we can learn to navigate the matrix with greater skill and awareness, making conscious choices that align with our values and intentions. Imagine you're navigating a treacherous landscape filled with obstacles and dangers. If you're asleep at the wheel, you're likely to crash and burn. But if you're awake and aware, you can anticipate the obstacles, navigate the dangers, and reach your destination safely. Lucid dreaming and meditation are like learning to drive, giving you the skills and awareness you need to navigate the complexities of reality with confidence and control. But assuming this reality is a construct that can be manipulated, is it morally justifiable to do so, even for benevolent purposes? Should we use technology to create a utopian society if it means sacrificing individual freedom or autonomy? This is the ethical dilemma at the heart of reality manipulation. While the idea of creating a perfect world may be appealing, it raises complex questions about the nature of freedom, choice, and the potential for unintended consequences. Imagine a world where everyone is happy and healthy, but no one is allowed to think for themselves or make their own choices. Would this be a true utopia or a gilded cage? There is a very real danger of interfering with the natural order of things, even with good intentions, and the possibility of creating unforeseen problems. Manipulating the weather to prevent climate change, for example, could have unforeseen ecological consequences, disrupting ecosystems and creating new environmental challenges. Perhaps introducing a new species to control pests in an agricultural setting could quickly become its own plague as the new species overtakes a region. The law of unintended consequences reminds us that our actions, no matter how well-intentioned, can have unforeseen and often negative effects. This doesn't mean we shouldn't try to solve problems, but it does mean we should proceed with caution and humility, recognizing the limits of our knowledge and control. Any attempt to manipulate reality should be based on the informed consent of all those affected, respecting their autonomy and freedom of choice. If we are going to create a simulated reality, everyone should have the right to choose whether or not to participate and to control their own experiences within that reality. Imagine creating a virtual world where people can live out their fantasies without any real-world consequences. This could be a powerful tool for entertainment, education, and even therapy. But it's crucial that people are fully informed about the risks and benefits of participating, and that they have the freedom to leave the simulation at any time. Perhaps the most ethical course of action may be to simply observe and understand reality, without attempting to control or manipulate it. Instead of trying to fix all the problems in the world, we should focus on cultivating inner peace and wisdom, allowing reality to unfold naturally. Think of a gardener who tends to their garden with care and attention, providing the plants with the nourishment they need to thrive. The gardener doesn't try to force the plants to grow in a certain way, but rather creates the conditions that allow them to flourish naturally. In the same way, we can cultivate a more harmonious relationship with reality by observing it with curiosity and compassion, allowing it to unfold in its own way. These ethical considerations, explored throughout time by the greatest philosophers, call into question the KGB's research. Was their pursuit of psychic weapons morally justifiable, even in the context of the Cold War? The KGB's actions raise important questions about the ethics of using psychic abilities for military purposes and the potential for abuse. Imagine a world where governments can use psychic powers to control people's minds, predict their actions, or even kill them from a distance. This would be a terrifying and dystopian reality, one where freedom and autonomy are non-existent. The KGB's research serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of ethical considerations in the pursuit of knowledge. Governments aren't the only institutions subtly shaping our beliefs, values, and behaviors through manipulation and control. Corporations use sophisticated marketing techniques to persuade us to buy their products, often appealing to our emotions and desires rather than our rational minds. The media can shape our perceptions of events by selectively reporting certain stories and framing them in a particular way. Even our education system can subtly influence our beliefs and values by promoting certain ideologies and suppressing others. These institutions, while not necessarily malicious, can exert a powerful influence on our thoughts and actions, often without our conscious awareness. Imagine how subtly social media shapes your views with algorithms determining what you see. Propaganda creates false narratives, manipulates public opinion, and suppresses dissent. Disinformation campaigns distort the perception of wars, allowing them to continue. Conspiracy theories spread misinformation and distrust, undermining faith in institutions and creating social divisions. The rise of fake news and the proliferation of online bots have made it increasingly difficult to distinguish between fact and fiction. This creates a climate of confusion and uncertainty, making it easier for those in power to control the narrative and manipulate public opinion. Conformity stifles creativity, innovation, and critical thinking, leading to a loss of individual autonomy. Groupthink leads to terrible ideas that everyone agrees with because they don't want to be ostracized. Imagine a company where everyone is afraid to speak their minds for fear of being criticized or punished. This can lead to a culture of mediocrity where new ideas are stifled and innovation is discouraged. To think for yourself, to challenge authority, to resist societal programming, one must go against it and do the opposite. This requires courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to stand apart from the crowd. But it's essential if we want to create a truly free and just society. Indeed, societal control links back to the KGB's attempts to manipulate reality. These techniques are still being used today by major media and government against the population. Mind control, propaganda, and misinformation are all tools used to shape our beliefs and behaviors, often without our conscious awareness. By understanding these techniques, we can become more aware of their influence and resist their effects. We can learn to think for ourselves, to challenge authority, and to create our own reality. But individual empowerment is not enough. We must work together to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable world because we are more powerful united. We must support each other, share our knowledge and resources, and organize collective action to address the challenges facing humanity. Imagine a group of people working together to build a house. Each person brings their own skills and experience to the project, and together they create something that no one person could have achieved alone. Perhaps humanity is on the verge of a major shift in consciousness, as more and more people awaken to the true nature of reality and the potential for positive change. People are becoming more spiritual, questioning the dominant materialistic worldview and seeking deeper meaning and purpose in their lives. This awakening is being fueled by the internet and social media, which are connecting people, sharing information, and organizing collective action. Imagine a global network of people working together to create a better world, sharing their ideas, resources, and skills, and supporting each other in their efforts. The internet and social media can allow many people to share information, organize protests, and connect with others who share their values. They can also be used to spread misinformation, manipulate public opinion, and polarize society. The power of technology to facilitate awakening carries a great risk. It is up to us to use these tools wisely and responsibly to promote truth, understanding, and connection, rather than division and conflict. We have the power to co-create a new reality based on love, compassion, and mutual respect. We can co-create a world where we all love each other, where everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive, and where the environment is protected and cherished. Imagine a world where conflicts are resolved through dialogue and understanding, where diversity is celebrated and embraced, and where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. We must act morally to create a better world, that we have a moral obligation to use our power to create a better world for all. We must act with compassion, kindness, and empathy, treating others as we would like to be treated ourselves. We must be responsible stewards of the environment, protecting the planet for future generations. We must be advocates for justice and equality, challenging systems of oppression and working to create a more fair and equitable society. The power to shape our destiny and create a better world lies within each of us. We are all powerful beings, we are all connected, and we are all love. To reach our full potential, we must be open to new experiences. The true nature of reality may be beyond our comprehension, and we must be willing to explore the unknown with curiosity, humility, and courage. Language and thought can limit our understanding. We must become one with everything to truly understand. We can transcend these limitations by cultivating mindfulness, practicing meditation, and engaging in creative expression. By quieting the mind and opening our hearts, we can begin to experience the fullness of existence, the interconnectedness of all things, and the infinite potential that lies within us all. Indeed, we are all one, all connected, and all love. We are all part of the same system, a single, interconnected whole. By recognizing this interconnectedness, we can begin to heal the divisions that separate us, to bridge the gaps between cultures and ideologies, and to create a more harmonious and sustainable world. Imagine a world where everyone recognizes their interconnectedness, where people treat each other with compassion and respect, and where the environment is protected and cherished. The KGB only had limited success, but they could not tap into the vast knowledge that is possible if we unlock our minds. Their attempts to understand psychic abilities may have only scratched the surface of the infinite potential that lies within us all. By continuing to explore the mysteries of consciousness, by pushing the boundaries of human potential, and by embracing the unknown with courage and humility, we can unlock the secrets of the Matrix and create a world that is more just, equitable, and sustainable for all. But what, then, are the true limits of our potential? So, what, then, are the true limits of our potential, and what breadcrumbs did the KGB leave behind in their quest to unlock them? The declassified files offer some tantalizing, if incomplete, glimpses behind the Iron Curtain, into a world of psychic research driven by Cold War paranoia and the desperate pursuit of a strategic advantage. These documents, often heavily redacted and couched in bureaucratic language, hint at experiments that push the boundaries of what was considered scientifically possible. One file, for example, details Project Echo, ostensibly a study of telepathic communication between submarines. The document, stamped "secret for internal use only," describes experiments where subjects attempted to transmit images and simple messages across vast distances, using only their minds. The results, according to the file, were inconclusive but warranting further investigation. But what's truly fascinating isn't what the documents explicitly state, but what they imply. The language used often downplays the significance of the findings, yet there are subtle hints of genuine excitement, and a sense that the researchers were on the verge of something profound. Phrases like anomalous results and unexpected correlations pepper the reports, suggesting that the experiments yielded more than just random noise. Were these just attempts to secure more funding, or did the KGB genuinely believe they were unlocking the secrets of the mind? We may never know the full truth, as much of the information remains classified, lost, or perhaps intentionally misleading, designed to throw Western intelligence agencies off the scent. Maybe the real breakthroughs were buried so deep within the system that they remain hidden even today, waiting to be rediscovered. Perhaps the files that have been declassified are the least successful experiments, and the successes have been kept in secret to this day. One of the most intriguing figures to emerge from this era of Soviet psychic research is Nina Kilogina, a woman who allegedly possessed the ability to move objects with her mind. Numerous experiments were conducted with Kilogina, some of which were filmed, showing her apparently manipulating small objects without any physical contact. In one experiment, Kilogina was able to separate egg yolks from the whites while submerged in water. Skeptics, of course, have cried foul, pointing to the possibility of hidden threads, magnets, or even unconscious muscle movements as explanations for her apparent abilities. The controversy surrounding Kilogina's case highlights the challenges of studying psychic phenomena, where the line between genuine ability and clever deception can be difficult to discern. But let's consider a different perspective. What if Kilogina wasn't simply a fraud, but someone who possessed a natural ability to tap into the underlying fabric of reality? What if her psychokinetic abilities were a kind of reality hack, a glitch in the matrix that allowed her to bend the laws of physics? If such abilities were indeed genuine, could they be replicated or even weaponized? Imagine the implications of psychic warfare, where soldiers could move objects with their minds, read enemy thoughts, or even induce physical harm from a distance. While this may sound like science fiction, the KGB took these possibilities seriously, investing significant resources into exploring the potential of psychic phenomena for military applications. Is it so far-fetched considering governments already use killer drones and cyber warfare to achieve their objectives? Beyond individual psychic abilities, the Soviets also explored the concept of the noosphere, a global sphere of human thought and consciousness. Proposed by Vladimir Vernadsky and Teilhard de Chardin, the noosphere suggests that human consciousness is evolving and becoming increasingly interconnected, forming a kind of collective mind that envelops the planet. The Soviets saw in the noosphere a potential tool for intelligence gathering or even mind control. They theorized that by tapping into this collective consciousness, they could access hidden information or influence global events. This led to experiments in mass hypnosis and telepathic communication, attempts to harness the power of collective thought for strategic advantage. Imagine a world where thoughts could be broadcast and received across vast distances, where the collective consciousness of humanity could be harnessed for political or military purposes. Is the noosphere simply a theoretical construct, or is it a real phenomenon that shapes our reality? Could it be the very fabric of the matrix itself, a shared mental environment that underlies our perceptions and experiences? And if so, can our thoughts and emotions affect the noosphere, influencing the course of global events? Consider the power of collective prayer or meditation, where large groups of people focus their intentions on a specific outcome. Could these practices have a tangible effect on the world around us, shaping the noosphere and influencing the flow of events? The exploration of consciousness didn't stop there. Ancient traditions speak of a vital life force, known as Kai, Prana, or Orgone, that permeates all things. This etheric energy is said to be the foundation of health, vitality, and spiritual well-being, and it is central to practices like acupuncture, yoga, and Tai Chi. While Western science has traditionally dismissed the concept of etheric energy as pseudoscience, some modern researchers are beginning to explore its potential role in healing and consciousness. Wilhelm Reich, for example, conducted experiments with orgone accumulators, claiming that they could harness and concentrate this energy for therapeutic purposes. Did the KGB explore the potential of etheric energy? It's certainly possible. If such an energy exists, it could potentially be harnessed to enhance psychic abilities, develop new weapons, or even manipulate the weather. The implications are staggering, raising profound questions about the nature of reality and the limits of human potential. But is etheric energy a genuine phenomenon, or simply a product of human belief and perception? Perhaps the answer lies not in proving its existence through conventional scientific methods, but in experiencing it directly through practices like meditation and energy work. But what if this etheric energy, this life force that ancient traditions speak of, is not just a passive substance, but something that can be influenced, even manipulated by the mind? What if the KGB's interest extended not only to ESP and psychokinesis, but to bending the very fabric of time itself? This brings us to a mind-bending concept that challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect: retrocausality. Retrocausality suggests that the future can influence the past, that events yet to occur can somehow reach back in time and alter what has already happened. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, and for good reason. It is the stuff of science fiction, but believe it or not, there's some serious scientific basis for this idea, emerging from the strange and counterintuitive world of quantum physics. Think of the classic grandfather paradox. If you could travel back in time and prevent your own grandfather from meeting your grandmother, would you cease to exist? It seems impossible, a logical contradiction. However, scientifically plausible models exist that manage to avoid the paradox. Instead of completely erasing your existence, the timeline might split, creating a new branch where you were never born, while the original timeline remains intact. Or perhaps the universe has a way of self-correcting, ensuring that any attempts to alter the past are ultimately thwarted. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for retrocausality comes from Wheeler's delayed choice experiment, a variation of the famous double-slit experiment. In the double-slit experiment, a particle like an electron can behave as either a wave or a particle, depending on whether or not it is observed. Wheeler's delayed choice experiment takes this a step further, suggesting that the act of observation in the present can affect the particle's past behavior. In other words, the decision of whether to observe the particle as a wave or a particle can retroactively determine which path it took through the apparatus. It's as if the particle knows in advance how it's going to be observed and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean we can go back and change history. Rather, it suggests that the act of observation fundamentally alters the nature of reality, blurring the lines between cause and effect. It's important to distinguish between strong and weak retrocausality. Strong retrocausality would imply that the future can directly change the past, allowing you to rewrite history at will. Weak retrocausality, on the other hand, suggests that the future can only influence the probability of past events. So, instead of going back in time and preventing your own birth, strong retrocausality, you might only make it slightly less likely that your parents would meet. Weak retrocausality. Most scientists are skeptical of strong retrocausality, as it raises too many paradoxes and contradictions. Weak retrocausality, however, is more palatable, as it allows for subtle influences from the future without violating the fundamental laws of physics. Could the KGB have been interested in utilizing this weak retrocausality to influence the past probability of stock trades in their favor, or in foreign elections? Now, how does this all connect to the KGB's psychic research? Well, imagine that they were exploring ways to use retrocausality for intelligence gathering or manipulation. Perhaps they believed that certain individuals, with the right training and techniques, could sense events in the future and use that information to make strategic decisions in the present. Or perhaps they even dreamed of influencing past events to alter the course of history in their favor, however unlikely that may seem. If the future can influence the past, even in subtle ways, then it might be possible to see the future through psychic abilities. Could precognition or remote viewing be explained by some form of retrocausal connection? Let's revisit the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where the very act of observation changes the behavior of quantum systems. In the double-slit experiment, for instance, the mere act of observing which slit a particle passes through causes it to behave differently than if it were not observed. What if the observer effect isn't just a quirk of quantum mechanics, but a manifestation of retrocausality? What if the act of observation in the present is actually influencing the past behavior of the particle, retroactively determining its trajectory? If the future can influence the past, then the act of measuring a particle's position in the present could retroactively determine its past trajectory. This raises a profound question. Is reality fixed and predetermined, or is it malleable and influenced by our choices and perceptions? If retrocausality is real, then our choices in the present could shape the past, creating different versions of history and potentially altering our own memories. Think about it. If we could somehow tap into the power of retrocausality, we might be able to alter our own pasts, rewriting our personal narratives and creating new possibilities for the future. This, of course, raises some serious ethical questions. Would it be right to change the past, even if it meant creating a better future? What if our actions had unintended consequences, creating paradoxes and disrupting the fabric of reality? But if the matrix is indeed a quantum system, as some believe, could retrocausality be the key to manipulating it? If the matrix is a simulation, then the programmers could use retrocausality to alter the past and create different scenarios, or realities, for the inhabitants of the simulation. Was the KGB aware of these connections? and did they attempt to exploit them for military or political gain? If they believed that the future could influence the past, they might have tried to use psychic abilities to manipulate events in their favor, subtly nudging the timeline in a direction that benefited the Soviet Union. But the idea of nonlinear time isn't just a modern scientific theory. Many ancient spiritual traditions, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Gnosticism, have long viewed time as cyclical or multidimensional, rather than linear. The concept of reincarnation, for example, implies a cyclical view of time, with souls repeatedly returning to Earth in different lives. Consider also the concept of the Akashic records, believed to be a repository of all knowledge and experiences from the past, present, and future, accessible through meditation or psychic abilities. Some spiritual traditions believe that the Akashic records can be accessed through deep meditation or altered states of consciousness, providing insights into past lives, future events, and the very nature of reality. Then there's synchronicity, as described by Carl Jung, meaningful coincidences that suggest a deeper connection between events in time. Experiencing a series of seemingly unrelated events that all point to a common theme or message. All of these phenomena suggest that time may not be as linear and straightforward as we typically assume. Could these ancient concepts be different ways of describing the same underlying reality that modern science is now beginning to explore through theories like retrocausality and quantum physics? Perhaps the ancient concept of karma, in which actions have consequences that ripple through time, could be seen as a form of retrocausality. Perhaps ancient mystics had knowledge of retrocausality that was lost or suppressed, and that we are only now beginning to rediscover through scientific inquiry. Did these traditions offer insights into the nature of time and reality that are not yet fully understood by modern science? Is that why the KGB was so interested in these concepts? So, how might the KGB have attempted to use retrocausality in practice? Let's brainstorm some potential applications for intelligence gathering, military strategy, or political manipulation. If the KGB could influence past events, they might have tried to sabotage enemy operations, manipulate elections, or even alter historical records. Imagine a scenario where they subtly altered the past to create a more favorable political climate for the Soviet Union, or to undermine the credibility of their adversaries. Of course, the potential dangers of manipulating time are immense. Creating paradoxes, unintended consequences, and the potential for destabilizing reality itself. If someone went back in time and prevented a key event from happening, it could create a ripple effect that alters the entire course of history with unpredictable consequences. Even if the KGB believed that they were acting in the best interests of the Soviet Union, their attempts to manipulate time could have had unforeseen and potentially disastrous consequences. The pursuit of power and control, even in the context of the Cold War, does not justify manipulating the fabric of reality. Perhaps some of the unexplained events in history may have been the result of attempts to manipulate time. Could certain historical mysteries, such as the disappearance of Amelia Earhart or the Tunguska event, be explained by secret experiments with retrocausality? We may never know the full truth, but the possibility remains that someone, somewhere, may have been tampering with the timeline, with consequences that continue to ripple through our reality today. While we may not have access to KGB time-bending technology, we can still explore the concept of retrocausality through our own consciousness. Here are a few practices you can try. First, practice mindfulness meditation to quiet the mind and become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, which can help you to perceive the flow of time more clearly. Focus on the present moment and let go of attachments to the past or future. Next, experiment with lucid dreaming to explore the nature of time and reality in a controlled environment. Try to fly backwards through time in a lucid dream or visit past events and interact with historical figures. Finally, engage in thought experiments to challenge your linear perception of time and consider alternative models of reality. Imagine what it would be like to experience time backwards or to exist outside of time altogether. By challenging our linear perception of time, we can become more flexible and adaptable in our thinking and more open to new possibilities. Exploring retrocausality can expand our consciousness, increase our creativity, and help us to understand the nature of reality more deeply. But it's important to approach these practices with skepticism and discernment, and to avoid falling into magical thinking or delusion. It's important to distinguish between genuine insights and wishful thinking, and to ground our explorations in reality. By combining these techniques with explorations of retrocausality, we can gain a deeper understanding of the nature of time and reality, and our place within it. So, as we conclude this exploration of retrocausality and its potential connection to the KGB's quest to unlock the secrets of the mind, let's remember that we are not passive observers of reality, but active co-creators, and our thoughts and actions can have a profound impact on the world around us. The journey of self-discovery is a lifelong process, and there is always more to learn. Continue to experiment with different practices, read books, and engage in conversations with others who are interested in these topics. Perhaps we will discover new laws of physics that explain psychic phenomena or develop technologies that allow us to travel through time. The Matrix is not a prison, but a playground, and we have the power to create our own adventures within it. In our next video, we'll delve even deeper down the rabbit hole, exploring even more radical concepts and challenging your understanding of reality even further. Get ready to question everything you think you know, because the truth is far stranger and more wondrous than you can possibly imagine. But the exploration of time isn't the only avenue that the KGB may have pursued in their quest to understand and potentially manipulate reality. What if they also investigated methods of accessing information beyond the confines of space, exploring the potential of consciousness to transcend the limitations of the physical body? This leads us to the intriguing concept of out-of-body experiences, or OBEs. Out-of-body experiences are characterized by the sensation of one's consciousness separating from the physical body, allowing perception of the world from an external vantage point. Imagine floating above your own body, observing the scene around you as if you were a detached observer. People who have reported OBEs often describe sensations of floating, soaring through the air, traversing walls, and observing their physical body from a distance. Some even claim to have traveled to remote locations or other dimensions during these experiences. But are these experiences merely hallucinations, or do they represent a genuine form of consciousness that can exist independently of the physical body? Scientists and parapsychologists have been studying OBEs for decades, attempting to understand their nature and determine whether they represent a verifiable phenomenon. Researchers have employed various methods to study OBEs, including EEG monitoring to track brain activity during these experiences, and experimental protocols designed to test the accuracy of perceptions reported during OBEs. For example, some studies have placed hidden objects in a room and asked individuals undergoing OBEs to attempt to identify those objects from their out-of-body perspective. The results of these studies have been mixed, with some showing evidence of accurate perception during OBEs and others failing to find any statistically significant results. Skeptics argue that OBEs can be explained by neurological or psychological factors, such as altered states of consciousness, vivid dreams, or distortions in sensory perception. Proponents, however, maintain that OBEs represent a genuine phenomenon that challenges our conventional understanding of consciousness and its relationship to the physical world. Given the KGB's well-documented interest in psychic phenomena, it's reasonable to speculate that they may have explored OBEs as a potential tool for intelligence gathering or even manipulation. The ability to remotely view locations, eavesdrop on conversations, or influence people's minds from a distance would be invaluable for any intelligence agency, especially during the Cold War. Imagine KGB operatives undergoing OBEs to infiltrate enemy installations, gather classified information, or even plant suggestions in the minds of key decision-makers. While there's no concrete evidence to confirm that the KGB actively pursued OBEs for espionage purposes, the possibility remains an intriguing one, consistent with their broader interest in exploring the potential of the human mind. Recall the concept of remote viewing, in which individuals claim to be able to perceive distant locations or events through extrasensory means. Also consider the noosphere, the sphere of human thought, as a potential field of information accessible to consciousness. Could OBEs be yet another way of tapping into this vast reservoir of information, allowing individuals to access knowledge and insights beyond the limitations of their physical senses? Perhaps remote viewing, the noosphere, and OBEs are all different facets of the same underlying phenomenon, representing distinct pathways for consciousness to transcend the boundaries of space and time. They could be different points of access to a single, interconnected reality. As we ponder these possibilities, let's turn our attention to another intriguing area of inquiry: the CIA's exploration of consciousness-altering techniques, specifically the gateway process. Is reality merely a construct that we can manipulate at will, or are we bound by limitations, physical or otherwise? The gateway process, developed by the Monroe Institute, is a system designed to alter consciousness and explore the nature of reality through specific sound patterns. This process employs a combination of techniques, including binaural beats and hemispheric synchronization, to induce altered states of consciousness and facilitate access to deeper levels of awareness. Binaural beats involve presenting slightly different frequencies to each ear, which the brain then interprets as a single, pulsating tone. This tone is believed to entrain brainwave activity, guiding the brain towards specific states, such as relaxation, focus, or heightened creativity. Hemispheric synchronization, on the other hand, aims to balance the activity of the left and right hemispheres of the brain, promoting a state of whole-brain coherence and enhanced cognitive function. By combining these audio techniques with guided visualizations and other exercises, the gateway process seeks to expand consciousness, enhance awareness, and unlock the potential of the human mind. Intriguingly, the CIA took a keen interest in the gateway process, commissioning an analysis of its potential applications for intelligence gathering, mind control, and reality manipulation. Declassified CIA documents reveal that they viewed the gateway process as a tool for altering perception, accessing altered states of consciousness, and potentially influencing events in the physical world. The CIA's analysis explored the theoretical underpinnings of the gateway process, drawing on concepts from quantum physics, neuroscience, and psychology to explain how it might work. They saw it as a way to bypass the limitations of the conscious mind and access the subconscious, potentially unlocking hidden abilities and gaining access to information unavailable through conventional means. The CIA was particularly interested in the potential of the gateway process to enhance remote viewing abilities, facilitate out-of-body experiences, and even influence the behavior of others from a distance. It becomes clear that both the CIA and the KGB were exploring similar avenues for altering consciousness and manipulating reality, albeit from different ideological perspectives. The CIA, driven by its own national security concerns, sought to harness the power of the mind for intelligence gathering, espionage, and potentially even offensive operations. In many respects, they were both after the same thing: to weaponize the mind, framing it as a tool for defense and intel gathering. Whether it was the KGB's pursuit of psychic abilities or the CIA's analysis of the gateway process, both agencies recognized the untapped potential of human consciousness and sought to exploit it for their own purposes. This raises profound ethical questions about the role of government in exploring and potentially manipulating the human mind. The concept of frequency emerges as a key element in both the gateway process and the holographic universe theory we discussed earlier. The gateway process uses sound frequencies to alter brainwave patterns and induce altered states of consciousness. Meanwhile, the holographic universe theory suggests that reality itself may be a construct of frequencies, with our physical world being a projection of a deeper, more fundamental reality. Could it be that altering brainwave frequencies allows us to access different channels of reality, tuning into different dimensions or levels of consciousness? Perhaps by manipulating sound frequencies, we can influence the very fabric of reality, altering our perceptions, influencing events, and even creating new realities altogether. This raises some unsettling questions about the potential misuse of these techniques. Could they be used to create artificial realities, controlling people's minds, or even weaponizing consciousness? Imagine a future where governments or corporations use advanced audio technologies to manipulate the thoughts and emotions of entire populations, creating a society where critical thinking is suppressed and individuals are reduced to mere puppets. Or consider the possibility of weaponizing consciousness, training individuals to use their minds to inflict harm on others, disrupt enemy systems, or even trigger larger-scale disasters. The ethical implications are staggering, and it's crucial that we engage in open and honest discussions about the potential dangers of these technologies before they fall into the wrong hands. Could the gateway process be used to create propaganda that's directly injected into people's minds, circumventing their critical thinking abilities and ensuring complete and total control? But let us not lose sight of the potential for positive transformation. Just as many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of exploring inner universes through meditation, contemplation, and other practices, we can harness the power of our minds to create positive change in our lives and the world around us. What if the exploration of inner space is just as valid, if not more so, than the exploration of outer space? What awaits us within? Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of exploring inner universes through meditation, contemplation, and self-reflection. The concept of inner space suggests that the universe exists within us as well as outside of us, and that by turning inward, we can access profound knowledge, wisdom, and insights. Ancient mystics and sages have long taught that the key to understanding reality lies within, and that by exploring our inner landscapes, we can unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Consider the vastness of outer space, with its billions of galaxies and countless stars. Now imagine that same vastness existing within your own consciousness, with infinite possibilities for exploration and discovery. This brings us to the concept of alternate dimensions, suggesting the possibility of other realities existing beyond our normal perception. What if our physical world is just one of many possible realities, each with its own unique laws, properties, and experiences? Could these alternate dimensions be accessible through altered states of consciousness, psychic abilities, or advanced technologies? Some theories propose that alternate dimensions are all around us, coexisting with our own reality, but vibrating at different frequencies. Others suggest that they exist in entirely separate realms, accessible only through specific portals or gateways. Lucid dreaming and deep meditation could be seen as gateways to these hidden dimensions, allowing us to explore and interact with them. In a lucid dream, where you're aware that you're dreaming, you can consciously control your actions and environment, creating entirely new realities within your mind. Similarly, deep meditation can induce altered states of consciousness that allow you to transcend the limitations of your physical senses and access higher levels of awareness. These practices can provide glimpses into alternate dimensions, offering profound insights into the nature of reality and your place within it. Perhaps the physical world is just a training ground for our souls, preparing us for grander adventures in these other dimensions. With that in mind, consider the possibility that the physical world is but one of many realities, and our consciousness holds the potential to explore and even create others. Active imagination, as Carl Jung proposed, involves intentionally engaging with your inner world, interacting with symbols, archetypes, and figures that arise from your unconscious. By actively participating in your inner landscape, you can gain insights into your own psyche, unlock creative potential, and even influence your external reality. If you actively seek to understand the symbols and images that arise in your mind, you can tap into a deeper level of understanding and unlock new possibilities for personal growth and transformation. So, what if we can, in effect, debug the matrix? What if we could identify and correct errors or limitations in our perception of reality? Let's build upon the idea that reality may be a simulation or construct, emphasizing the potential for manipulating its rules and parameters. If reality is a computer program, could we hack it by altering its code or exploiting its glitches? What if we could bend the rules of the game to our advantage, creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment? This perspective suggests that we are not merely passive players in the game of life, but active participants with the power to influence the outcome. We can consciously choose our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, shaping our reality according to our desires. By using meditation, self-awareness, and critical thinking, we can identify and correct these errors, reprogramming ourselves with more empowering ones. If we are programmed with limiting beliefs, such as "I'm not good enough" or "I don't deserve success," we can use meditation to become aware of these beliefs and challenge their validity. We can then replace them with more positive and empowering beliefs, such as "I am capable of achieving my goals" or "I deserve to be happy and successful." By consciously reprogramming our minds, we can alter our perceptions of reality and create new possibilities for ourselves. Our emotions act as a guiding force, directing our thoughts and actions towards specific outcomes. When we experience positive emotions, such as joy, gratitude, and love, we tend to focus on positive aspects of our lives, attracting positive experiences and opportunities. Conversely, when we experience negative emotions, such as fear, anger, and resentment, we tend to focus on negative aspects of our lives, attracting negative experiences and outcomes. By cultivating positive emotions and managing negative ones, we can shape our reality in a more positive and fulfilling way. Positive emotions can attract positive experiences, creating a virtuous cycle that leads to greater happiness and well-being. It's time to reframe our mindset and see ourselves as programmers of our own reality, with the power to create positive change and manifest our desires. You can choose to focus on abundance, health, and happiness, manifesting these qualities in your life. By taking responsibility for our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can consciously create the reality we desire, turning our dreams into reality and living a life of purpose and fulfillment. And what if certain practices acted as cheat codes for accessing higher levels of consciousness? Practices like gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. Gratitude shifts your focus to the positive aspects of your life, attracting more abundance and joy. Forgiveness releases you from the shackles of resentment and anger, freeing you to move forward with a lighter heart. Compassion fosters connection and empathy, creating a more harmonious and fulfilling world. These practices may unlock new levels of access within the matrix, allowing you to transcend limitations and create a life of purpose, meaning, and joy. Gratitude and forgiveness may unlock new levels of access, paving the way for profound personal transformation. Even in the face of external forces attempting to control the matrix, the power to resist and shape your own reality remains within you. As we move towards the finale, prepare yourself for a powerful tool that you already possess, waiting to be unleashed. So, what are we to make of all this? The KGB delved into some strange areas, and while we can't definitively say they cracked the code to manipulating reality, their explorations, at the very least, point to something profound. Humanity's relentless drive to understand and exert influence over its environment, both internal and external. Think of it this way: Their quest is part of a lineage that stretches from ancient alchemists seeking the philosopher's stone to modern scientists chasing the elusive theory of everything. The same hunger drives them all. Even if the KGB's grand ambitions fell short of their intended goals, the true merit lies in their daring attempt to push the boundaries of human potential and scientific understanding. Sometimes, what we perceive as failure is simply the process of eliminating possibilities, each dead end a signpost pointing us closer to the truth. And who knows what unseen ripples their attempts to hack reality might have created. Perhaps their explorations inadvertently spurred technological advancements in fields far removed from their original intentions. Imagine a piece of technology created for one application, but then used for something completely divergent. Ultimately, the most crucial takeaway isn't whether the KGB stumbled upon some earth-shattering secret, but rather the encouragement for each of us to embark on our own quest for answers, to question, to explore, and to challenge the very fabric of reality we perceive. Instead of waiting for others to give you the answers, why not seek them out yourself? Now, let's synthesize what we've discussed. Is reality a simulation, a conscious construct, or something else entirely beyond our current comprehension? Perhaps the most compelling model emerges from weaving together threads of simulation theory, quantum physics, and ancient wisdom. Reality may not be an external, pre-programmed simulation, but instead a fluid and responsive construct of consciousness, intimately shaped by our collective thoughts, beliefs, and intentions. Envision reality as a shared dream, co-created by each and every one of us. However, let's not get lost in the map. Any model we create is, after all, just that, a map, not the territory itself. The true nature of reality likely dances beyond the grasp of our limited human comprehension. Remember, the menu is not the meal, the description is not the experience. Ancient traditions, despite not offering definitive answers, provide invaluable frameworks for navigating this uncharted territory. Key practices from diverse cultures can be artfully blended to forge a uniquely applicable perspective, such as interweaving meditation with the practice of mindfulness, or harmonizing the flowing movements of Tai Chi with the focused intention of yoga. The most practical approach to grasping this complex subject is to persistently seek a deeper understanding of yourself and the lens through which you view the world. The key takeaway from all of this exploration is simple. Regardless of reality's true nature, you possess the power to shape your experience within it. You are, in essence, the operator at the controls. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. You are accountable for the choices you make and the impact they have on the world around you. You become, in effect, the KGB of your own life, with all the weighty ethical implications that entails. You are free to choose good, bad, or indifference, but choose you must. It's not enough to merely grasp these concepts intellectually. You must translate them into action. Embrace the transformative potential of practices like meditation, lucid dreaming, and critical thinking. Turn insight into tangible action. Recall the initial premise of the KGB's pursuit of control, but let's invert it. The real power resides not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. This involves acknowledging your internal limitations, challenging your ingrained beliefs, and consciously choosing who you want to become. Our journey, of course, doesn't end here. While we've synthesized a wealth of information, the process has undoubtedly ignited even more questions. Where will these concepts ultimately lead us? What are the potential ramifications for technology, for society, and for the very future of consciousness? Let's continue to explore the potential of these techniques to cultivate a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. I encourage you to continue exploring these fascinating topics independently. Delve into the suggested resources for further reading, experimentation, and personal reflection. Share your own thoughts, experiences, and insights in the comments below, fostering a vibrant community of like-minded explorers. What awaits us is, quite possibly, the next great leap in human understanding, or perhaps the final test. I'll leave you with this final thought. The Matrix may be all around us, but so too is the potential for awakening. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and above all, keep creating.